a ton to talk about from the first ever Grant Park 220, the Chicago street race. NASCAR making its debut in street racing for the first time in 75 years. And it wasn't only historic because of that, Jeff. It was also historic because we had a first-time winner in his first start ever, Shane van Gisbergen, the three-time Supercars champion from Australia, the Project 91 driver for Trackhouse Racing, wins the first ever NASCAR street race in the Cup Series, which a lot to get to on all of that. But let's just start with the man who heretofore will be known as SVG in this podcast. Put this in context, Jeff, because I know you've been around NASCAR a long time. We've always heard about the so-called road course ringers who come in and, might come from sports cars or other road racing series. They've done well, but I don't think we've ever seen anybody do this well. This is the first time we've had someone win in their Cup debut in 60 years. The last time this happened was Johnny Rutherford, the Indy 500 winner at Daytona. So put in context, SVG coming from another series, never driving a Cup before and winning at Chicago.
Well, Nate, it was an amazing thing to watch. He was fast in practice. You knew immediately he was going to have speed. But we've seen that before. We've seen drivers come in, have speed, but when they go to race, they can't connect all the dots because the racing is completely different. His experience in cars that are similar, not like, but similar to this car, I think helped him a great deal. I think the timing of that is important. One of the most difficult things I always believe was that if you come from almost any other kind of series to come run NASCAR, these cars are so radically, or have been so radically different than anything else. They don't stop. They're heavy. They don't turn very well. They don't hook the rear tires up very well. It made it a huge transition, even though a guy may have more road course racing experience. He didn't have experience in the car. Well, that wasn't the case here because the Australian supercars, aren't the same, but are similar to this. He immediately felt comfortable. He was driving very good equipment. Obviously Trackhouse builds good equipment. And I think he got benefited by single file restarts. I think he got benefited by the rain. I think that, and I'm not discounting anything at all, right? But he wasn't thrown into the vast differences that others have. Like when you go race at Watkins Glen or you go race at Sonoma, our guys have so much experience in these cars, they're even that much harder to beat. Well, no one had experience here. He had some experience on street courses. Most of our guys didn't. We had single file restarts. We had a wet racetrack. We had a lot of things that went against what we normally do. And I think that was an advantage to Shane. Now, look, he took full advantage of it, and he is a great race car driver. You look at what he's done in the supercars. That is an exceptionally competitive series. I'm not taking anything away, but there were differences in this race, and he took full advantage of it, which, by the way, wasn't easy to do. It's very difficult to take advantage of all the situations. It shows you how good he is, but it was a different kind of race, and I think that helped him.
Yeah, I think I was most impressed, Jeff. I mean, he qualified third. He was fast in practice, and Denny Hamlin wins the pole and immediately says, Shane van Gisbergen is lightning fast. Like, this guy is finding the last 3 inches next to the wall that we are not finding. So his ability to go fast on one lap was really impressive. And the fact that he's driving a left-hand side car where normally in supercar series, he's on the other side of the car and shifting with his left hand instead of his right. So all of that is impressive. But to me, it was his racecraft that, I think there was one point, it was after stage 2, there was a restart, or stage 1, there was a restart. And I think you and some others noted it, that I think he went from like 2nd to 5th. And I think we all thought, okay, this is what happens during a Cup race. The veterans know this is where you make your hay. You got to gain ground. He's going to fall back a little bit. Maybe he'll stay up there, but it's going to be difficult for him to get a good result seeing that. But it just seemed like he was almost playing cat and mouse. It was almost like he was racing so intelligently, and we didn't really recognize it until that final 20-lap stretch where he made that charge from 18th to 1st. What did you make of just his racecraft? I thought was as impressive as his speed.
Yeah, and his post-race, he indicated that he just got too conservative in that section. He just felt like that, he didn't need to push then, and he just got too conservative, and therefore he lost speed. And then he after the strategy where they got on the wrong side of that, he was left with no choice. But like we got a charge, and he did that. And by the way, I thought that he got disadvantaged in the lineup with the turn 11 traffic jam. I thought he should have lined up way further ahead than he did. I thought that lineup wasn't necessarily correct in my eyes, but he had to overcome that also. So these Cup drivers do not get enough credit, and when people come race against them, they recognize, wow, they're really good. They are really good, but he was better. And that says a lot. And it shows you that there's still room to grow. It shows you that our guys can still be better. And it shows you that we always have to be working as a sport and a series to be the best drivers that we can be. And it also shows you that I wish our guys had a little more time to go race with other series. You know what I mean? I think that would be good for them too. But we race so much, it's never enough time. But look, I also think we can't forget, Justin Marks and what he's doing at Trackhouse. He uses the word, we want to be disruptive. Well, he is. And he is doing things that others haven't thought about. He is doing things consistently that are changing the sport, and that is disruptive. For him to go say, hey, we're going to have this guy run this race. I mean, it was the perfect pick. I mean, in retrospect, it was the perfect pick to put in this race. A guy that knows these cars a little bit, that understands street courses, that has the right attitude to come in. I mean, when you looked at him and you heard him talk, you could tell he's an aggressive personality. Like, you could tell he wasn't afraid of the moment. And finding that right guy that can balance, I'm not afraid of this moment. I'm going to be respectful for these guys, but at the same time, I'm going to race them really hard. That's hard to do. It's hard to go in somebody else's backyard and be respectful and race hard, and he did that. So, what a great pick, what a great concept. And Justin Marks, he is being disruptive, which is what he said he wants to be.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.